Very first point, if you like, is effectiveness and efficiency. So handing over to both Anthony and Michelle, what's the key here? What's the driver? What's, if you like, what's the rationale behind the first point?
Well, I guess most organizations are always looking to optimize what they have already and how they can improve on what they're doing. And the middle one of those three examples is the most relevant to what I've just said, which is doing more for less. So when you take a manual process right now where you've got lots of data, lots of documents, lots of people running around trying to ascertain answers to questions and solve problems, that typically requires lots of effort, lots of time, and a digital approach enables you to kind of streamline all of that into one effective process, which means individuals can start behaving on a day-to-day basis, doing jobs that they were actually employed to do in the original sense. And we talk about supplier management later down this process. That's one example where working with your suppliers, for example, or improving how you engage with your customers is one way of being more effective and more efficient. It also encourages more proactive behavior. Right now, most individuals, if the process is very manual or there's only an element of it that is automated or digital, they're reacting to things. They're reacting to problems. They're reacting to questions. Whereas this a more effective and efficient approach enables you to be more proactive, have more control over what's going on in the department, have more visibility of what's going on in the department, which then makes you make informed business decisions rather than reactive ones.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that, Anthony. I think that middle part really resonates with the association. Last year, we did a whole piece on doing more with less, or we're doing more for less or with less. It's been a strange old time for the last 2 years. So I think this whole effectiveness and efficiency is a really key topic. You could choose this one and speak for an hour on this one particular topic. And what's your point, Michelle?
I think it's quite key when you're asking the question of doing more for less. It's interesting that you had a whole topic on it previously, because doing more what for less what, and that's what you've got to pin down. Is it doing more work for less money? Is it doing more business for less effort? So it's almost like a key driver question, and the rest of the other things are strands from there. So you're doing less work for less effort is removing the duplicate inputting, removing the manual effort, those sorts of things. So yeah, the doing more for less is what for what is what do you want to achieve.
And it also brings back to the, sorry, Jamie, it brings us back to the business process review and working with us to help you establish exactly what Michelle has just said. What is doing more for less for you? And the last point on here is integrating with existing applications. Everybody listening to this will have some kind of technical platform supporting them doing what they're doing. Is it being utilized to the best that it's capable of doing? Is it being overutilized? Is it integrating with different applications to, for example, your Office 365 environment? If it's not integrating with those things, then you're potentially duplicating efforts. And while our objective is ultimately to provide a digital platform, it's not necessarily always the case that additional digital platforms help you be more effective and more efficient. It could be you've already got all of those things in place, but you're not utilizing them correctly. They're not being utilized to the best of their abilities. So all of those points are relevant, and the business process review that we've previously spoken about helps you define exactly what effectiveness and efficiency means for you.
Lovely. And I think that the point that I'd like to pick up there is obviously the very first point on this slide is proactive behavior. And I love that, by the way. I think, the idea of proactive behavior, I assume what that's meant there is that it's all about education. It's what we're doing today. We're doing a masterclass on what it is to go digital. What's the plan? If you don't plan, you fail, and vice versa. So that proactive behavior, you must see this all the time, Michelle, in your customers when you're consulting with them. What sort of traits do they have? Are they inquisitive? Like Anthony just said, sometimes it might not be going digital is the right thing for them, or they may have already started the digital process. But what's that proactive behavior that you look for?
Quite often, actually, when you're going in consulting, actually you see it by the opposite. by reviewing, you see the reactive behavior. You know, the reactive behavior is the work is given to them, and that's what the trigger is. There's no going in at the beginning of the day and thinking, right, I'm going to resolve this. This is my objectives. This is what I'm going to deliver. Because you can have all of those plans and then they're thrown away, or awry, whichever word that is, by the fact that something has come in that was not planned for, that you couldn't see, that no system had alerted you or reminded you previously. So the proactive behavior is around being able to plan and meet those deadlines, and work towards a goal, rather than being bombarded with lots of other balls.
And by the way, that proactive behavior isn't just a reflection of your own behaviors internal with you in your own department. It could also encourage proactive behavior with your suppliers. So how many, and again, I've touched on this already, and we're going to touch on it in a little bit more detail later, but how many people listening have suppliers picking up the phone asking questions? Well, let's give those suppliers the answers in advance, so suppliers can take responsibility and be more proactive in their answering of their own questions before they disturb anybody within anybody's team here listening, bothering them with questions that they could have answered themselves. So the proactive behavior is not, and also finally another point on that is outside of the AP department. So authorized signatories, people that are responsible for signing off invoices that need to be approved. Let's get them proactively engaging with the AP team, rather than the AP team having to react to suppliers chasing them, then having to chase the authorized signatory. Let's flip that on its head and do it the other way around. That's another example of proactive behavior. It's not just about how the AP are behaving, it's about team are behaving. It's about all of the supporting elements.
Lovely, thank you for that. So picking up on the two last points, so obviously integration with existing applications, and then that statistic at the bottom, 20%, 27%. So what it's saying there is more than 27% of business people do not view their business of having already gone digital. Question for both of you: if an organisation has an ERP system, are they not already digitized? Have they not got digital?
Go on, Michelle.
I was going to say that this almost goes back a little to what I started at the beginning, as in that the answer to what is digital can vary for different people, and it means different things. So for me, being digital is less of a thing in itself and actually more a way of doing things. So it's about being able to unlock the value and growth in your processes and business. It's about using the data to make quicker and better decisions. It's about being able to devolve those decisions to smaller teams, being more agile. So it's really about re-examining the entire way that you are working or you're doing business, and then rethinking your approach to match that. So having an ERP is not being digital in itself, but it's a tool that can assist in being digital. Because if it's standalone, you're manually inputting information in and out, the data that's going in isn't clean, and therefore clean data is not coming out. It's not the tool that's actually helping you. It's just an electronic device. It's not helping on doing something digitally. Don't know what you think. Anthony, do you believe?
No, I have absolutely nothing to add. Perfectly articulated. It isn't a thing. It's what you do with it and how it works for you, rather than having somewhere where it's stored, which is effectively what an ERP system is. It's information stored in an area that then enables you to operate in certain parameters. Of course it is, and this is, we're not belittling it. It's absolutely essential to an AP department, but there are multiple elements that contribute to that ERP system existing, and that's the bit that can really add value to the business.
Yeah, and if you're not reporting on that data, if that data within that system can't help you, you can't make better decisions. You can't think about working differently. You can't or change a process or ask another team to assist. So it's not helping you if that data is not being used to report and measure and perform on either.